Hello, this is the start of our Unit 2, Angle Relationships. So this is Chapter 3 of your Foundation of Mathematics 11 workbook. So, relationships. So we're going to start with a review on the different types of angles. So what are the different types of angles? So let's start with the acute angles. So what are these acute angles? Acute angles are angles that are between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. So it would be, so if we're gonna represent our angle as x degrees, so acute angles would be from 0, or the angle must be greater than 0 but less than 90 degrees. Okay, so if we're gonna represent that, one example of which would be something like, remember that in a particular angle, it has a vertex. So this is the vertex. You have two lines. Well, this is called the initial arm. This is the initial arm. And then the one that rotates is what you call the terminal arm. So these are the two arms of your angle, and this would be your angle. So if you can see, the measurement is starting from your initial arm. And an example of an acute angle would be 30 degrees. It could also be 40 degrees, and even 89 degrees. Okay, so it should be less than 90 degrees but greater than 0 degrees also. So this is an acute angle. So the second one would be, you have what you call the right angle. So what's a right angle? This is an angle of 90 degrees. So right angle is 90 degrees. Or you can say that, or initial arm and terminal arm are perpendicular. Okay, so actually one way of the word perpendicular means that the two lines are 90 degrees apart. So if this is your initial arm, so therefore the terminal arm is just straight up. So in this particular we say that the two lines are perpendicular to each other. So this is 90 degrees. So that particular symbol denotes that the two lines are perpendicular to each other. So right angle is just an angle whose measurement is 90 degrees. Next is the obtuse angle. So obtuse angles. So these are angles. These are angles greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. So the angle, again represented by x here, x of the angle measurement degrees, x degrees, would be greater than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. So that particular case, we call this one obtuse. So greater than 90 degrees, but it should be less than 180 degrees. So we call that one as obtuse angles. And we have the representation of such would be something like, well, again, we start with our initial arm, and then greater than 90 degrees, therefore it means that the initial arm, the terminal arm, are no longer perpendicular to each other. So this particular angle measurement here is your what you call obtuse angle. And then the fourth type of angle is the straight angle. So straight. So when you say straight angle of 180 degrees. So it's just a straight line. So your angle is 180 degrees. So therefore, if this is your initial arm, again, remember the common point between the terminal arm and your initial arm is it's called the vertex. That is your vertex there. So terminal arm would be in the opposite direction. So this particular angle here is just 180 degrees. And again, we also call that one as straight angle. So straight line. So straight line, any straight line would have an angle of 180 degrees. Fifth one, we have what we call the reflex angle. So you have here reflex angles. Okay, so reflex angles are just angles greater than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees. So it should be reflex angles is greater than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees. Okay, so we call that one as reflex angles. So reflex angles again, any angle that is greater than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees. So these particular angles within that range is called reflex angle. So again, we can represent that one by, this is our initial arm, and then this would be our terminal arm. So if you can see, this angle is greater than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees. So any angle measurement within that range is your what we call the reflex uh, angle. And the last type that we will be talking about is the one complete rotation. So complete rotation. So one complete rotation is your angle of 360 degrees. So therefore, if your initial arm would be the same as your terminal arm, one complete rotation. So again, the vertex would be the common point between the two. So if you're gonna do one full rotation, it's always that angle measurement is 360 degrees. So these are the different types of angles. Okay, so just familiarize all these angles along the way in this particular unit. We'll be using these particular terms moving forward.